Welcome to AudioShelf,
a place where we take you on a fantastic journey through our audiobook adventures.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Brittany.
And we are the voices in your head.
Today, we are so excited because we are talking to the Emily Carpenter.
She is our hero, our goddess,
our everything.
Our everything.
We are so excited to talk with her, and we don't even want to fill up any more of the time between now and hearing her.
So please enjoy our interview with Emily Carpenter.
Yes.
Thank you, Emily, for joining us. We're so excited to have you on finally.
Yes, we've literally been talking about this all week.
Yes, this has been a long time coming.
100%. So we are so excited for Until the Day I Die. We just did a video review of it for YouTube, and it just got us all excited all over again for this conversation.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see you guys in living color.
I know, right? It's like we're actual people.
Yeah, but I mean, so I listened to the podcast. Think about the review that you did for Burying the Honeysuckle Girls. And I was I had my headphones on and I was walking around and I was talking back to you. You were asking, you were like, how old is he? And I'm like, I'm 51.
And then we discovered that later and we were like, wait, that cannot be right.
Yeah. And I was like, they can't hear me.
Oh my gosh, that makes us feel so good.
I feel like I've already been in conversation with you, only you couldn't hear me. So.
Oh my gosh, and that'll make this super easy and fun then.
Yes. So congratulations on Until the Day I Die. We can't be happier for you. And we know it's going to be a huge success.
Yes, 100%.
I hope so. Your lips to God's ears.
What research did you do for Until the Day I Die? I mean, did you travel to a remote island? Was it haunted? What did you do?
Me down. No, I didn't do that. I will say, so I've been to a Caribbean island and I went many years ago on my honeymoon. I've had a few trips since then. One of my most favorite place to go is Turks and Caicos, which is
yes,
stunning.
That's where me and my husband honeymooned at Turks and Caicos.
Oh, yeah. It's my idea of paradise. But so more of the research for this book was actually concerned the tech and the app stuff, like what a startup company does and what the atmosphere there is like, and what it is to build an app and the process you have to go through. So that, because I'm not a tech-minded person at all, as you can tell.
I mean, we could not tell.
Well, that's the really cool thing about it is a woman that works with my husband, his business, her son is a game developer out in Silicon Valley. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, he's done really well for himself. And there's a super famous app he created. He used to work for Zynga, but
oh, wow.
Oh, I just bought stocks in them.
Oh, did you?
They came free when I signed up for an app.
So anyway, I forgot what I was saying, but I talked to him, and I had created this imaginary app, and I sat down with him one Thanksgiving, and I was like, please don't laugh at what I'm about to show you, but can you make it look believable and it could be a real thing that could. So he did not laugh at me, and he was amazing and really kind of helped dissect the way you put together an app.
That's really cool. I mean, we could tell that there was a certain amount of research that went into it because it was so well done. And so I think that speaks to the authenticity of the book a little bit more, is that you really didn't just decide, okay, I'm just going to have an app and that's what it's going to be. You did research, and that's amazing.
It's fun. I like that part of it. And for me, it's like you walk kind of a tightrope of, you don't want to go into too much detail because, the readers aren't there to like get a lesson in app development. They're there to have fun and have an, so you want just enough detail to make it sound real and authentic. And so I probably learned way more than I really needed. But
well, for the next book.
Exactly. It was awesome. Oh, those people are smart.
Yes, it made me want, like, listening to Until the Day I Die made me want to be in that field, but then I was like, I have no idea what I'm even doing. Like, I could never do that.
Yeah.
So we noticed that in all of your books, there's this like certain amount of isolation. Do you have a fear or a fascination with being cut off from civilization? Like, what makes you drawn to that kind of atmosphere?
Well, that's a good question. I'm first of all, I'm like a lot of writers, I'm an introvert. So I do kind of lean towards craving my alone time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to be necessarily cut off. Like, I like to know that I got my target around the corner, my star, reach, but I think it's more about that. To me, it creates this kind of atmosphere that we don't get to experience these days. Like, we are so connected, and especially with the phone and the computer and apps, you're connected to the world and at all times, and to levels that it's kind of shocking to know that you're tracked and the whole GPS thing. And so I think for me, as a suspense writer, it's really fun to get a character or a bunch of characters in this remote setting where a lot of times their cell phones aren't working well, or, they don't have the conveniences that they're used to. There's no police department around the corner. And it just, to me, it makes for a better story. And just, there's just more opportunity for them to get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And I also liked the little nod to social media, like within the app in Until the Day I Die. That was really a cool little, like, bringing it into the modern times as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And like crazy, like, why, like, I don't know if it might be Venmo where people, why they, like, I'm like, why do you want your transactions public? That is just nuts to me.
Yes,
But
exactly. I just send eggplants.
Yeah.
that is wise. I think that is.
Someone's like, why did you just pay $75 for eggplants, Brad? I don't know.
It was a good eggplant.
Yeah, it's very, to me, it's almost more creepy how connected we are than like when you get one of your characters isolated. That to me is like, I mean, that's like mankind at its, basic level. So
yeah, and Shori in the book was like really smart to be like, I don't know this person, so I'm gonna ignore it for a little while. Even though we were like, answer the message.
Right. And like, I have kids, and I'm like, from the beginning, dealing with the internet, telling them, don't talk to anybody, and don't, and they're rolling their eyes at me. But
yeah. They'll learn.
And so this next question kind of goes hand in hand with the whole idea of isolation. And there's another piece to your novels that I personally just really love to read about, the whole mental health and addiction aspect to them. And if it's not too personal, like, how do you know how to write these issues so well?
Well, Brad, there's much to go into, and I'll try to speak carefully here. But so I have struggled with anxiety, for instance. I guess probably all my life, but I started noticing it more as an adult. And so just trying to figure out like how to work around that. But then a bigger thing that happened in my life is I have a son who is 22, and he gives me permission to share this, but he was diagnosed with OCD when he was 19.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, wow.
and for anybody who knows OCD, it's not just like, oh, I have to have things straight on my desk. It is
Yes.
really, it's really debilitating. And so I've always just kind of generally been interested in psychology and mental health. And in terms of addiction, without being too specific because people need anonymity, but I do have friends and family that have struggled with that. So I've seen some things.
Well, they say writers write what they know, and that's what makes them amazing writers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just think it's endlessly fascinating because to me, mental health, it's the treatment of it is really a new field, but it really is physical health. It's just like, any other kind of illness or disease or condition. It's just kind of more in our brains. And I think because we don't understand it as much, and because, we've, put people away, we've hidden people away who were suffering with psychological issues. I think it's kind of made it a very taboo subject, but I love how people are talking about it more now.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I'm just interested in it. It's just one of the things I'm interested in. So,
Well,
yeah.
it definitely shows with just how well you write, just the different disorders that you do talk about in your books. I think the first time I realized it was in Every Single Secret, I was just like, oh my God, I finally found a writer that knows this stuff.
Yeah.
And has done its research.
Yeah. And that was really fun too, to research about antisocial personality disorders and sociopaths, and, really, really interesting. So yeah, I read about a doctor who was now I'm forgetting, not a neurosurgeon maybe, but anyway, it wouldn't be a surgeon, but he was studying the whole concept of being able to diagnose kids,
Oh, yeah.
possible burgeoning sociopath. And he did brain scans of his own brain and discovered that he was one.
Oh my God.
My goodness.
And then he went to his family and he was like, you guys see this in me? And they were like, oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my, wow. That is fascinating.
Yeah. So yeah, it is really interesting to me, that whole, we could talk forever about that. But
yeah. And especially since like, I feel like sociopathy this year or like 2018 was like such a big topic. Like you had YouTubers doing documentaries on it and just people releasing different things about people who are sociopathic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, that was the perfect time to listen to Every Single Secret.
Well, I think what's interesting to me about it is that, and I talk about this in the book, is it's not always, so it's not Ted Bundy all the time. A lot of just, the guy you're playing golf with that cheats constantly and and doesn't care. And he's just there to win, man. He's just there for the reward, and kind of that concept of that it's frowned upon or that you're going to bother your, golf partner. It's like, doesn't really have any impact on that kind of person. So,
it's so wild. It's like high functioning sociopaths can be like, we could be one.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Now that we're thoroughly freaked out now.
Yeah.
So we're huge book to movie adaptation fans, and we are curious, which book of yours would you want to see adapted into a movie or TV show?
Oh, all of them.
I was going to
That's
say,
like,
which one first?
yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe a better question. I don't know. I always thought that The Weight of Lies, that's the one where the woman, she's the daughter of this very famous horror novelist, and she goes to this island off the coast of Georgia to kind of write this tell-all book about her mother, kind of a mommy dearest, book, and to kind of explore the true life story that her mother used to base her iconic horror novel on. And I've always thought it was to me, I love those barrier islands, sea islands off the coast of Georgia. They just have a really unique look to them and unique ecology. And they have like the wild horses running on the beach. And yeah, they have a really interesting history. And again, they are super isolated. So to me, that one's very cinematic, and it's got the whole backstory of the actual horror novel that was like a very kind of campy early 70s, book. And that was fun to me too. And there's a lot of cinematic possibility to that one, I think.
Yeah, just from the description, I'm like, I want to see that as a movie, because that is the last one on our list to listen to. We've kind of been working.
Yeah, I just told you the whole story, so now you don't have to read it.
Oh no, we still do.
We will. Oh wow,
that sounds beautiful.
I'm excited. I hope one of your books, gets that book to movie adaptation that they deserve.
Yeah. Because we can see them. We can see them all in our head, just taking place, like characters and people that we would cast in them.
Oh, yes.
We are just complete visualizing all of your books into movies and TV shows.
Well, that's how I write them, because that's what I start off in acting when I was in high school and college. Really wanted to be an actress, and I didn't quite have the confidence or the wherewithal to really pursue it the way you have to, because it's such a tough business. But I was always kind of peripherally involved in, television and acting and theater and stuff like that. So I think that when I write my books, I definitely I read my characters out loud and I picture the scene in my head and the way it would look as if it was a movie. So
that's great.
Yeah. And so we have done some stalking. We'll tell you that up front. And so we found that you worked in the soap opera industry.
Yes.
Guiding Light and As the World Turns.
CBS forever.
Yes.
Now, sadly, both of them long-running shows that are canceled now.
Yeah.
But
I know. But since they're canceled, is there any juicy gossip you can give us?
Speaking of the acting world.
Yeah. So I won't name any names, but and speaking of addiction, this is really kind of sad, but there's a funny portion to it. But so I was just an assistant, and so I worked at CBS, and then they taped the shows crosstown. But we would get I would get all the calls and filter all the calls. And this was back in the day in the 90s. So, they were literally people were picking up the phone and calling CBS New York to give us some input. There was no there weren't really email websites, nothing like that. So one day I pick up the phone and this woman is screaming at me because one of the characters from Guiding Light, the writers had sent him away to rehab, and he was a very favorite character. He'd been there forever, and the writers had written him off the show in the story that he was going to go to rehab and get, whatever treatment. for drinking. And she was just like, how could y'all do that? That is so terrible. And that is just, he's, blah, blah. I couldn't even remember, like, his marriage and his children and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, the actor himself is actually in rehab right now. Yes. I guess gave the writers permission to actually, which is really quite brave.
Yeah.
When you think about it, because, those shows and the actors were very closely connected with their fans. So I did think it was really brave, but I wasn't going to tell the lady that, obviously. But yeah, she was infuriated that we would do such a humiliating thing to him.
Oh my God. Hopefully now, like in the 90s, maybe it was a little bit taboo, but hopefully now, like that woman has grown.
I think things are so much different now. The other thing is, there were definitely actors like fooling around with each other. Like,
yes.
Ooh.
That's so scandalous.
But they were also good looking. You know?
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, it's like they like had a factory of just like, okay, soap opera people. We're gonna pump out these clones of really attractive people.
It was overwhelming. I would go to the studio and be like, everyone is so beautiful.
That's why I couldn't be an actor, because I would fall in love with everyone.
Yeah, you would be a problem, Brad.
Yes, I would be a problem.
Okay. The one I liked the best was on Guiding Light. Alan Michael Spaulding. It was Rick Hurst. I think he's still on General Hospital. I think. Not sure. He was so cute. Like when he talks, like, hello. Actually, my husband is named Rick too.
Is that a coincidence?
I could be goofy, but
that's awesome. Well, thank you for that little piece of gossip. Through our further stalking of you, we came across an interview of yours where you spoke to the rhythm of dialogue. What do you do to capture that in your writing?
I just like what I told you before, mostly. I mean, I find dialogue's really hard because you're conveying character and exposition, and you're trying not to, bring your story to a standstill. So to get it, you want it snappy. And I just tried to read the characters out loud and like play all the parts in my head, like it is, like it's a scene from a movie.
Like it's a movie, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't, it does help to watch a lot of Netflix, I will say. I mean, if you watch a really good show with really snappy dialogue, it can rub off on you, I think. And so I always feel like I really do find that watching a good, fast-paced suspense thriller kind of reminds me of that I always have to be kind of trimming the padding. You know what I mean? Keeping things. Yeah.
We just read that article that you released yesterday.
Oh, the suspense.
Yeah. The suspense. And so that it makes a lot of sense. You mentioning that you cut out some padding too, because
Oh yeah, because listen, I will go on for pages describing like the inside of the spooky house, and my editor is like, "This is great writing, but it's really boring."
Really boring.
So we gotta move things along, and I just like that. To me, that kind of scene setting stuff is really fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely sounds fun to be writing and putting yourself into.
Yeah.
And so another piece of your writing are the character development. And we were just talking about this in our BookTube episode, that you write such like phenomenal female characters. And I mean, we love them. They're very strong-willed and total badasses, to be honest. But are there any types of characters that you find yourself holding back from writing because you don't want to be kind of perceived a different way or kind of have a negative connotation to?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that I think a lot of writers of suspense and like darker kind of stories come up against, and that is this whole thing of, well, your character is not sympathetic, or your character is not likable, and or likable enough. And honestly, I've had those comments while I was in, the writing and the editing process from my agent and editors. I do tend to write kind of prickly characters. They're prickly women, and they're not. They've been through a lot in their lives, and a lot of them have backgrounds that are not really identifiable, to the regular person reading the book. And so, they've been through a lot. And so they have these kind of angles, to them. And so I get that comment a lot, that note, like, you want to make this character more likable. And part of me is always pushing back against that, because to me, I don't care if a character is unlikable. I just really want them to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to be, I want to understand why they are the way they are. So I do push back against that. And, I've made some concessions, and I can see, I definitely can see, the benefit, and you almost see the good come, sort of develop in your character when you do make them a little more, you give them something that is a little more of a likable quality. But I guess I just tend to be really attracted to difficult people, and I feel very sympathetic towards them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to answer your question, I mean, one day I would like to write a book with a main character who's not evil or a villain or anything, but like very unlikable on the outside. Like you think when you met her, there's absolutely no reason. Like, why do I want to hang out with her? And she's just a mess, or she's, but then you would discover sort of what makes her the way she is and interesting. But it's a tough sell,
Mm-hmm.
It is. And a lot of people just don't go for that. So
I think we feel like with Gigi in Until the Day I Die, like if she were the main character, we would just be like, oh my God, can't wait for her to die on this remote island.
everyone just, there's a lot of, I mean, I don't know. I like to write bad people, man.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
We like seeing them like on the outside a lot too, because I know in Barry and the Honeysuckle Girls it was Molly Robb for us. That was like,
oh, I hate Molly Robb.
But we were like, we hate her so much that we actually like love her character. Like, she does her job as a character of like, you just wrote her so fantastically of like us hating her, and she did that the first scene she was in.
Oh my gosh. And I'm writing a follow-up book to Honeysuckle Girls, and she's in it.
Oh my God.
That's so exciting.
I'm like trying to figure out if it's going to be more or less, but I just wrote a chapter and she's in it. And I was like, oh, hey, Molly Robb.
You're like, long time no see.
She's just great. You just love to hate her because she's just so grasping and like such a social climber, and she's so transparent, she's just cool.
But she's such like an awesome character too, so it's gonna be fun to see her in the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she wears those headbands. She wears a lot of headbands.
Oh,
those headbands.
Those headbands, yeah.
Ugh.
So when you were talking about tough sells, we also read that you had a story, a crazy ghost story with romance and time travel that you wanted to write. Are there any plans to maybe put that tough main character sell within that story, and then it would just be like double the hard sell?
Nobody would buy it. And
Oh, we would buy it.
We would so buy it.
well, yeah. So you say the word ghost story, and I don't know, things are changing now. I feel like the market's opening up a little bit. But yeah, a year ago, I would say the word ghost story, and like, my agent would be like, just shake her head. Like, I just think for anybody other than Stephen King, I don't know why, but it's a tough sell. But
Yeah.
I love to do that. And I like when I get little bits of time, I sneak off and I'll write a chapter here and there.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's really cool.
I feel like whenever I hear like Southern Gothic, like a ghost story is just like what stands out in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I think, you know what? It's funny. I think a lot of people have a certain understanding of what Southern Gothic is. And a lot of times I think they just think it's a book set in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like kind of, realizing. So when like you said, when I say, a ghost story, and I mean, that is like one of the main tenets of Southern Gothic. There's always like a hint of a ghost, or, it doesn't have to be an actual ghost, but there's always hints of that. So I feel like I've kind of started this new thing. Like I got to educate people what Southern Gothic is, because not just a story set in Georgia or Alabama or whatever. It's got some characteristics to it. Yeah, and ghosts are one of them, man. Bring on the ghosts.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
the hauntness of it.
Yes.
So speaking of Southern Gothic, that whole genre, we also read that you plagiarized the Pokey Little Puppy at age 5, which is, tisk tisk for you plagiarizing.
I apologize for that. I just want to whoever wrote the Pokey Little Puppy, I'm very sorry.
But I wonder if you could turn that into a Southern Gothic thriller, and like, what would that look like?
That's a good question, because I don't really remember what happened in that book. So
yeah, it just seems like a dog on a cover to me.
I don't. I'm sure it was about a slow dog, but I will say there's like a very Southern Gothic dog in To Kill a Mockingbird, and we're not going to say what happened to him because it's very sad.
Yeah, it's very sad.
No.
So that's pretty much what happens to the Pokey Little Puppy, I guess.
Okay, all right. poor Pokey.
Poor
little
Pokey.
But listen, if you're a dog, do not get stuck in a Southern Gothic book. It is not going to go well for you.
No.
So.
Yeah, which I really appreciate that you don't include many animals in your books at all. And if they are included, then there's a reason, and they're eating somebody.
Well, I will say you might change your tune in The Weight of Lies. There's some animals in there.
Oh
no.
It's okay.
It's
I can
okay.
look past it.
Just brace yourself.
Well, also through our stalking, just to like wrap up our stalking a little bit,
Yeah.
you can see how creepy we are.
Yeah, please, no restraining orders.
You can write a Southern Gothic thriller about us.
I'm scared of it.
We also read that you wrote a book about you getting a horse, and I have always wanted a horse, and so I was particularly drawn to, did you ever get that horse?
I did not get the horse. I do not have a horse. I've never had a horse, and I sound a little bitter about it.
Yeah.
Really disappointed. No, I did. I was like a horse girl. It was like, well, everybody else was kind of like liking boys, and I was like, horses. And I took horseback riding lessons. And even in college, I was working at a camp in Mississippi, and I was working in the barn and, taking trail rides and stuff. So I've always loved them. But no, I never did end up with a horse of my own. So.
Do you continue to ride now?
I don't. What I did realize about horses was that they cost a tremendous amount of money
Mm-hmm.
and require a ton of care, and that was probably not my path in life. So
It's just way more fun just to like take some trips elsewhere and ride the horses and then just leave them there.
take care of them, and yeah, exactly.
So since you're a writer, how do you fit time into reading other people's works?
So I am really bad about this, and I'm like every day I think I got to figure this out because so my first book came out in just 3 years ago, 2016, and so it's kind of like in this period of my life I've kind of embarked on this different career, and I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. And so reading for pleasure is one of those things that I haven't quite figured out. And I'm kind of a slow reader. So I don't zip through books really quickly. And also my head is so full of my own stories. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate. Like I started listening to this amazing audiobook that's set in Ireland, and it's, oh my gosh, it's really good. But I just found my mind wandering because I'm in the middle of drafting a new book, and I just realized I just can't. I don't have enough bandwidth, I guess, to focus on this. But and I read a lot of books for other authors to blurb them. So that takes up a lot of time. But gosh, I just really, I mean, speaking of Turks and Caicos, I'd love to go an island somewhere and just with a stack of books and just, lie there for days and read and read and read, because I miss those days. And like anytime somebody posts up, oh, you've got to binge watch this series on Netflix, I'm like, oh, I can't because I'll get sucked into it. It's just, it's strange. Like all my mental space is taken up with these imaginary characters in my own head. So I wish I could read more than I do. So.
Wow. Yeah. And I think we're still shocked that you started in 2016 because we honestly feel like you have such like a powerful like voice with your characters, and so it feels like they've been around forever.
Thank you. I didn't really start in 2016. I actually wrote 2 books before that, and they were both like kind of romantic comedies. So I was 2 years before that, I was very into dancing Argentine tango, and I wrote a book about a young woman who uses tango to kind of judge the potential boyfriends in her life. And I loved the book and, sent it out, and I got a lot of rejections for it and had some close calls too, almost getting an agent. But in the end, I put it away and went on to write other things. But so I think I was developing, and before that I wrote some screenplays that were not produced, but like I entered them in contests. And so I think I was developing my writing muscle for years before I actually came out with the book that first got published.
Now, this is just a question because I'm curious. Do you have to get a new agent every time you write a different type of book?
No. And so you mean like a different genre book or just a different book?
A different genre.
Well, so that's a really good question. So what I've discovered is that there is a real pressure that so my first book is like this kind of blend of women's fiction and suspense. And then kind of the next books after that seemed a little more like straight up suspense books. And when you talk about marketing from a marketing perspective. And so there's a lot of talk on the business side of publishing about like, where does your book fall in terms of category? And there is a lot of pressure, I guess, from business end of things to like keep things the same and to give your readers what they want. Now, I don't know if I came to my agent and said, so I've written this totally different genre of book. My guess is that she would, want to represent it and want to try to get it sold, even if she wasn't super familiar with the genre. But I would never go to, like, I'm not going to write science fiction or fantasy or anything. Anything I do is going to be somewhat connected to what I already do,
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm kind of figuring out this business too as I go. So I think most people keep the same agent. They might like publish under a pseudonym,
Mm-hmm.
so as not to confuse their audience. But I feel like readers are really smart and they're like, they can deal with, if, I wanted to write a YA book or a horror book or, a ghost story.
Yeah, absolutely. We would be there for that ghost story.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for sharing that little tidbit of information.
Yeah, that was really insightful to like the business and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the business is wholly different from the creative side. And I think trying to combine those two it's part of the fun of doing this, of being an author, is trying to figure out like, I like my art and I want to write what I want to write, but also I want to sell books and I want to make people happy and entertain them. So there's a little tension there, but it's fun.
Nice. So what is next for you? I know that you just kind of briefly mentioned the follow-up to Burying the Honeysuckle Girls, but is there anything else coming out?
Well, no, that's it right now. And I'm working on it. It's called Reviving the Hawthorne Sisters.
Ooh.
Yes.
That sounds so good.
I'm alert.
So yeah, and it follows Dove. It kind
of oh my god. Oh, sorry.
It follows Dove's story. It has that dual narrative structure like Honeysuckle Girls had, where you are seeing the story in the 30s and the present day story. As the main character is uncovering the mystery. So the mystery is about Dove and her life and what she did or did not do in her past. And so I'm working on that, and I'm thinking about other books, but I don't have anything that's like under contract. So I'm just kind of circling around other ideas, and that's it.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited for reviving. You said it's Reviving the Hawthorne Girls?
It's Reviving the Hawthorne Sisters.
Oh my gosh, because we were going over, we heard about the potential sequel, the follow-up novel, and we were just wondering like what it was going to be about, and we were taking our own guesses, and like one of them was like, what if we get to see Dove's story?
That's all Brittany ever wanted.
I remember you saying that, and that was probably when I was like, yes, it's done. And y'all didn't hear me.
Yes, that makes me so excited. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
So when are we going to get together and go to Hidden Sands together?
Oh gosh. Are you ready for Hidden Sands?
Yeah, we're packed already. We have a machete.
We're packing in all sense of the word.
Yeah, you gotta watch your step there, though. You gotta, yeah. I'm there. I'm ready to go. I will fight the whole crew at Hidden Sands just to get like a spot on the beach and my chaise and my stack of books.
Yes.
I'm ready to go.
Girl, I just want a Mai Tai. That's all I want.
That's all.
Yep, that's all he wants. So Mai Tai and watch people die.
That's good times right there.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule with Until the Day I Die, with going on tour or anything, like whatever you have planned. Thank you so much for fitting us into your schedule. This has been amazing.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
And we're so excited to keep talking to you over Twitter. For everyone to know, your handle is at Emily D. Carpenter.
Correct.
And make sure you follow her.
Yes. So thank you so much, Emily, and we will chat with you more soon.
Sounds good. Thank y'all.
Thank you. How fantastic was that?
Oh my God. I can't breathe.
I'm like about to cry.
I can't breathe. Oh my God.
She's amazing. She has like so much insight to everything. And oh my gosh, it was just such a joy to talk with her.
She answered all of our hard-hitting questions.
Yes.
Including the pokey little puppy.
What happened to the pokey little puppy?
Oh my gosh.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. And we thank her so much. And just so you guys know, we had a little bit of conversation after the recording, and she's just as fab off the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
She's
God.
like completely amazing.
We're obsessed.
Yeah. So please, if you haven't already, pre-order Until the Day I Die. It comes out on March 12th, 2019. So you can put it down now and get it when it comes out.
Yes. And you'll, sop it up. It's like a biscuit.
It is like a biscuit and gravy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just sop it up.
It's real good. And please be sure that you follow along with us. Our social medias are always buzzing, and you can always find us on there. Our Twitter is at AudioShelf Me. Our Instagram is at AudioShelf_podcast, and our Facebook is at AudioShelf. And please subscribe to our BookTube, where we are putting out our review of Until the Day I Die on Wednesday. So you can go there and watch us fangirl over there.
Yes, please. And if you would like 2 free books, and please pick up 2 Emily Carpenter books. I mean, it's free. Please go to our website at audioshelf.me and click on the Audible affiliate link to download a 30-day free trial.
Until next time. Bye.
This has been AudioShelf, where we release new podcast episodes every Monday and Thursday, and YouTube reviews every Wednesday.
If you want to stay updated, listen to previous episodes, or suggest audiobooks for us to feature, visit us at audioshelf.me.
We are Brad and Brittany. Thank you for listening.